In terms of layer one token has been having a phenomenal 2023. Layer one blockchain, Aptos token, surging over 400% since the start of the year. And while NFT trading volume on Aptos has been robust, analysts warn that the funding rates for the token are still negative, suggesting traders expect the rally will be short-lived. All right, joining us now to discuss is Mohammad Shaikh. He's a co-founder and CEO of Aptos Labs. Mohammad, great to have you on the show this morning. So it's not exactly clear why the price of APT token has soared, but you work with the Aptos platform. Maybe you can tell us about some of the developments, your hot take on what's going on in the Aptos ecosystem.
Sure. Thank you for having me here. The Aptos ecosystem has been focused despite everything going on in the market. We launched our protocol 3 months ago. It's been amazing to see the community's response to new technology, things like Move, which are a new smart contract programming language that provides security in a protocol. All of that without compromising decentralization, throughput, and low latency. And the market has been looking for something like this, especially in an environment when certain L1s are starting to go down and L2s can't keep up. And we're seeing that interest reflect in developer matriculate into developer activity. We have over 5,000 unique projects that are live, NFT projects that are live today. We have over 3 million unique addresses that have registered. And so for us, it's an exciting time to be in the market. And we appreciate the developers and the community really taking note.
Yeah, what's really fascinating about Aptos is that the team that has brought it to life was formerly with Meta, where you guys built the Diem blockchain that was eventually shut down. I wonder, what kind of challenges did you face at Meta that you hope to overcome over at Aptos?
Yeah, and appreciate you noticing that. I am just one of many amazing people on our team. We do come from backgrounds of having built the original blockchain at Diem and at Meta called Diem. But the principled approach that we took then is the same one that we apply to the technology today, and that is one of evolution. We know blockchains have been built to stand the test of time, have not been built to stand the test of time. Ours is. In fact, last year in 2022, we launched 4 testnets along with mainnet. That's the most rigorous amount of testing that we've seen take place in market, and we're not going to stop there. In fact, we already have our next upgrade planned for the protocol. We don't plan to wait 7 years for the next upgrade. We'll be excited to deliver that upgrade later this quarter for the community of developers that are building different applications and looking to really test the boundaries of what Web3 can really do.
Yeah, I'm sure the team is a lot more nimble working as a startup mode rather than a publicly listed company. I wonder, is it true that the team is looking to bring back the Diem blockchain to life?
No, the Diem blockchain was something completely separate. Our focus has always been on Aptos. Yes. We were very fortunate to be some of the original builders that designed that protocol and brought that protocol to life there. Avery, my co-founder and CTO, was the technical lead of that product. And we have a group of many amazing engineers that worked on that technology. And we've learned a lot of lessons over the 3.5 years deploying that tech in the market that we can now carry on into and bringing into the broader Web3 through Aptos.
So Aptos, Mohammad, Aptos is very tied, obviously, as you were saying, to the NFT market. Do you think that that's a huge part of what's leading to this rally? Is it telling us something about what the market thinks of NFTs, or is it specific to Aptos? And if so, I mean, obviously you don't want to talk about price, but nonetheless, is this something, are you getting any messages from all of this? Is it regarding the NFTs? Obviously, you're going to say it's because Aptos is fantastic, but I mean, even a high price like this, does it worry you in any way? Does it make things harder for you?
It's an excellent point. The way we think about NFTs is pushing, again, the boundaries of what we've seen in previous generation blockchains, where you were kind of limited to what you could do with NFTs. You couldn't really take them across different protocols. You couldn't take them across different platforms. Although we saw that promise, we just didn't see that in execution and in the wild. What Aptos allows you to do, because of the performance and the low latency we have, you can launch a collection, but that collection doesn't have to live only within it. In fact, NFTs should have an opportunity to live in things like games, social platforms that might be out there where you can share what you own, why you own it, and really connect with the community. NFTs sit at the center of community formally. And so we have partnerships with gaming companies like NPixel, who just launched their Metapixel platform, and it's going to be built on top of Aptos. They've done a deep dive through different protocols and realized NFTs need to push the boundaries and be able to exist in the metaverse, connecting communities around the world. And we're excited to see them bring that vision to life and using Aptos on the back end to make that vision come to fruition.
You know, there was a little bit of criticism a few months ago when it came to when these tokens were released. Do you think that this recent rally, at the very least, vindicates what you've done?
Yeah, I think folks paid attention to Aptos, given we're a high-profile project. Being a high-profile project, it's often difficult to please everyone. However, if you do look into our tokenomics, you'll see we've really pushed the boundaries of what we think an egalitarian distribution should look like. Aptos means the people, and we were thinking about tokens. We thought about the people. In fact, if you look at distribution, you'll see that represented in how low of an allocation there is for folks like investors. We have among the lowest distribution for any investor across any protocol at launch. And so we're very proud of that. And again, that allows us to focus on the people that really are benefiting, and that is the people that have been dedicated to the space for a long time, and the new people that are coming into the space and deciding to use Aptos as their home to build.
I recall when Aptos began to launch, there was a lot of buzz around it, but a lot of folks were thinking, oh, that's so crazy to have another layer one at this time. So reflecting on that, what do you think about the competition? Why do we need another layer one right now?
It's an excellent point. I mean, I come from very early days of the Ethereum ecosystem, where we thought, Ethereum was going to be the clear winner. In fact, if you look at previous technology cycles, folks that were leaders initially in their respective industries may not necessarily be the ones that end up formalizing and cementing an industry. You can apply that to, some of the early names in the dot-com era, and think about who exists today. Google was not necessarily the first comer, but has been a great representation of the internet. We take that same principle in terms of how we think about blockchain technology. We've learned an amazing amount of lessons from Bitcoin, from Ethereum, and from other protocols, and we've taken those lessons into account while building Aptos. It's a technology that needs to continue to evolve, and we haven't seen that in previous iterations of blockchains. Again, as I mentioned, we've already iterated multiple times in a short window over the last 13 months of evolving the blockchain continuously, and we're not going to stop there. And so that first principle of evolution is not something that we've seen, and we think this is a new breakthrough principle to pay attention to. But when you have things like Move, which are a new smart contract programming language that introduce security at the protocol layer, when you have things like key rotation that we've thought about, all of these novel perspectives are reasons that enterprises were not necessarily interested in jumping in to Web3. We're starting to see that with gaming companies choosing Aptos to build on. We're starting to see that with payment companies that are now looking to evolve money and the way we think about how that money moves around the world on Aptos. And so, these use cases are, had a lot of promise on other blockchains, but we did not see that necessarily come to fruition. So when you think about thousands of transactions per second on a network with sub-second latency, that's what Aptos provides.
I'm curious, how decentralized is Aptos? How many nodes are out there? How is the supply schedule controlled?
Great question. In terms of decentralization, we all understand that it is a spectrum. So at launch, we're very thankful that we had 103 validators that were supporting the network. And those 103 validators weren't sitting with one particular party and in any particular jurisdiction. We had over 42 countries and over 50 different parties representing the validator community. And so that makes us actually one of the most decentralized networks at launch. with a Nakamoto coefficient of around 14. And so if you think about that relative to protocols that have much lower Nakamoto coefficients and are far more centralized, we're extremely proud to continue to push the decentralization narrative forward. Again, we are not going to stop where we are today. We're going to continue to push the boundaries of decentralization, but we can do that without compromising performance and latency.
So very quickly, what do you see the next, you talked about use cases. What do you see the next major use case after NFTs for Aptos?
Yeah, I think, what we've seen historically are a focus on a particular industry or vertical for Web3. Sometimes that was payments. In other cases, that might have been gaming or NFTs. In other cases, that might have been social. The world we actually live in today is all those components actually have to work really well together. And so in 2023, we think things are going to get a little bit funky, right? If you're in a metaverse and you now have an NFT that you can showcase and have maybe trade that NFT with people that you never ever meet in person, but are able to connect with across the world because you have that metaverse as a platform to be able to do that. And that metaverse doesn't have to be something that lives in an AR platform. It can simply be within a game. We think that's extremely valuable. You can now exchange economic value. You can connect with creators, and you can be empowered to do it in a way that not one entity controls that, not one platform controls that. And so 2023, we'd love to see a lot of these industry now start to converge. And we're seeing that today. Big brands are taking big leaps and kind of disrupting themselves from within. They're venturing out and launching NFTs for communities within gaming platforms. And so we're really excited to take some of those NFTs and supercharge them so that they can move in a way that's free and in a way that it can reach masses, billions of people.
All right, we're out of time, but Mohammad, thank you so much for joining us. Crypto is going to be a wild ride. I'm sure we'll see Aptos go through many highs, hopefully not too many lows. That was Aptos Labs co-founder and CEO, Mohammad Shaikh.